Good morning. This time of year, when people have got allotments and grow vegetables in their garden, they tend to give you a lot of vegetables, and I never like to say no. And the last 3 weeks I've had 3 marrows, and when I'm saying marrows I'm talking enormous marrows like this, and there's only so many marrow I can eat. So the last marrow that was given to me on Friday, today's Saturday, again was this sort of size, and so I've decided to make chutney. Now the chutney I've gone for is obviously predominantly marrow, but also apple, sultanas, ginger, and the usual ingredients that are in chutney, which is some spices, some malt vinegar and some sugar. So first of all, the recipe calls for the marrow to be obviously chopped up, so you peel it, take all the seeds out of it and chop it up into sort of bite-sized pieces, and then you pop it in a bowl and sprinkle it with a couple of tablespoons of salt and cover it and leave it overnight. So that's what I've done so far, and if I show you what it looks like, so this is the marrow here, and if you look, that's the amount of water that's come out of it overnight. So now the job is to actually give that marrow a rinse, because obviously it's going to be really salty, and let it drain. So I'm going to do that next. So you're also going to need some roughly diced onions, 225 grams, and I've got a mixture here of white and red onions. Doesn't really matter which ones you choose, and you don't want them too finely because after all this is chutney, and you want it approximately the same sort of size as the marrow is going to be. So just roughly chop them up. So they're a little bit slippery, they're sliding all over the place as onions do, but that's fine. There we go. So that's my onions all chopped up in the bowl. Okay, and you're also going to need some ginger. Again, it's to taste, but I mean I quite like ginger. This is obviously ginger root, and again I'm just going to peel it and take all the skin off. There we go. And it's a bit knobbly bobbly and a bit tricky to do, and the smell is absolutely lovely if you like ginger. I mean, some people don't like ginger, but I really do, and it's really good for you. It's good at warding off colds, or fighting off colds with the winter soon being upon us. So let's get rid of that. And all I'm going to do now is just grate it. And you have to mind your knuckles a little bit when you're doing this. Lovely. And then this fibrous bit I'm actually just going to discard, so I'm not going to pop that in. Give that a bash. There we go. And that's my ginger. I'm just going to pop that in a bowl. Lovely. So that's my ginger, that's my onion. Now this strange brown ingredient is actually apple. It's just gone a little bit brown. These are actually windfalls that I've just picked up from a friend, and I've just chopped them about, and I've got approximately 225 grams there of apples. Then you want some malt vinegar, and you're going to want about half of that again. I think this is 568 mils. Beg your pardon, I'm going to need a little bit more of that, so let me go and grab that now. So you want 850 mils of malt vinegar, which I've actually already put in a measuring jug. It's actually approximately 1.5 bottles, standard 500 mils bottles, thereabouts. You're also going to want 225 grams of brown sugar. This is the dark brown sugar. And you're going to want 225 grams of sultanas. And again, to taste, you're going to want some pickling spices. Okay, and this is the marrow just all nicely drained. And now it's just a case of combining all the ingredients into a large saucepan, or in my case it might actually have to be 2 saucepans. We'll see how we go. So I'm going to pop the marrow in first, and it's probably going to go everywhere. Well, it's not too bad. I think only one bit that escaped. Pop that in there. Then we're going to put my apple in. Then I'm going to pop the ginger in, just so I don't forget it. Then the onion. Then the vinegar's going in. At this point I'm just going to put the stove on. Then approximately half this bag of sultanas. And again, we're getting a bit full, but I'm hoping to get it all in one pot. It'll make it a little bit easier. So that's approximately half a bag there. Then the same with the brown sugar. So again, approximately half a bag. If you want to weigh it, you know, by all means, weigh it. It's all very sticky, so it's being a bit stubborn to come out. Oh, and there goes some on the floor. Right, again, approximately half a bag there. And finally, some pickling spices, and I'm just going to pop a few in. You don't want too many. Right, there we go. And that's basically it. I'm actually just going to let this come to the boil. And at the moment it's on a high heat. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a pat down there. And what you'll find is quite quickly, because the marrow is mostly water, and also in that respect the apple is mostly water, that's actually going to reduce down quite quickly. So I'm going to pop the lid on, and we'll come back later and see how that's doing. Okay guys, so this is approximately 4 hours later, and as you can see the colour's changed completely. We've got a nice brown mushy sort of chutney looking consistency. It's a little bit liquidy, but as it cools down it will actually thicken up a little bit more. And now we're ready to pop this into jars. Now over here I've got the kiln seals in a jug, just with some boiling water, and obviously they're all covered over in there, just sterilising. And then in the oven, if you want to take a look, and in the oven here I've got the kiln jars all sterilising beautifully. So all it's a case of is taking a jar out, and obviously use oven gloves because they're going to be hot, popping them down, and I've got a ladle here that I'm going to use. And as I said, don't touch the jars, just so you can move it about with the oven glove, and then just carefully ladle this into the jar. And I'm going to make sure it's quite nice and full. And there we go, it's as simple as that. And then I'm just going to leave that to cool, and when it's finished cooling I'll pop a seal on top of the lid, and then obviously close them up. They keep for about a year because of the sugar and the vinegar content. And I'm just going to label them up to say obviously what it is and when I made it. And they make great presents. So if you're thinking about giving away some edible gifts this year, you might want to think about some marrow and ginger chutney. Anyway, that's it from me. I hope you found that interesting, and I'll see you all soon.